Let's move on to the California gun battle, shall we? So the Supreme Court continues to hear the case against the Texas abortion law. Now, recall, this is the law that allows private citizens to litigate against other people who have participated in abortion in any way. Although specifically now a new Texas law says that you cannot sue the attorney general over it. Is the Texas Attorney General, the government, or the governor?
The governor.
You cannot sue, and also municipal workers somehow. But yeah, you can sue an Uber driver who drove someone to an abortion. You can sue an abortion provider. You can sue the woman who actually had the abortion. Maybe you can even sue the baby. I don't know.
And by the way, this came up in the Supreme Court. Remember, this came up in the oral arguments, and Justice Roberts basically asked the question, or no, Justice Kavanaugh, I think, asked the question, like,
how do you prevent other states from using this against other laws that people don't like? That gave Gavin Newsom a great idea.
Yeah.
He said, that's exactly what I'm going to do. If we're going to allow private citizens to sue against things, I'm going to do that too, except in my state, I will allow private citizens to sue anyone who's using guns. Right. So someone has an illegal gun, that hurt a child. This law would empower people to enforce the state's assault weapons ban. That means anybody, let's say you sold a weapon illegally because you work in Walmart, right? Then you could be sued. Then Walmart could be sued. And so this is really going to force the courts to take on not just the issue of guns or abortion, but whether or not you can empower private citizens to litigate against things that they are not otherwise harmed by.
All right, here's what he said in a tweet about this. He said, SCOTUS is letting private citizens in Texas sue to stop abortion. If that's the precedent, then we'll let Californians sue those who put ghost guns and assault weapons on our streets. If Texas can ban abortion and endanger lives, then California can ban deadly weapons of war and save lives. That's the official tweet. I mean, look, and the Supreme Court is still moving forward on this, and on whether or not this ban of abortions in the state will continue. So they haven't decided this yet.
So it's interesting because we're not exactly sure. Does that mean that if they let that one go, they have to let this go too?
Right.
Because specifically, the case is about abortion and term of abortion. It's not about and also about whether or not you can sue for something if you were not harmed, right? And so the people who have claimed harm in the lawsuits that are filed say, this stranger lady who had an abortion, I'm so emotionally distressed about it. I didn't know her before. I didn't know she was pregnant. I knew nothing of her uterus, but the idea that she had an abortion is so upsetting to me that the courts should pay me. Right. And so,
like, this is America's next level of suing.
Absolutely, as a parent, right? As a person, as a citizen, as a energetic being that owns a human body, I do not like the idea of guns. I don't want to be killed by a gun. I don't want anybody in my family harmed by a gun. And I absolutely am regularly afraid of guns. So can I sue somebody who had an illegal assault weapon because that scares me?
Like, here, let me just paint the picture. Like, you're watching a news story, right? Let's say you live in California. You live in Northern California, and there's a shooting in Southern California. Basically, if you look at the abortion law in Texas and you look at the California law, think of it this way. You could be in Northern California seeing a shooting that happened in Los Angeles and a little kid gets killed, right? Okay, you saw this on the news, and that so upsets you that you decide to sue the gun manufacturer that allowed.
Well, because how many people?
And then you could make money because you're so emotionally distraught. So now I know Gavin
That's
Newsom.
Easy to prove, though. How many parents obsess about the idea of school shootings if you're an American person?
Well, I mean, I'm just think about Sandy Hook. Like, just think about that situation. Like, if that law in Massachusetts, where was it? It was Massachusetts, right? Yeah. If that were in place there, I mean, think about they could end up suing Smith and Wesson or whomever as a result of this. I mean, look, I think Gavin Newsom has to know that this is total political theater.
It will get litigated. Absolutely, it's true. I'm not saying I'm not making a case for this as a law at all. I'm saying the burden of proof is easier to be upset by like gun violence in America than to be upset by someone else's abortion that you didn't know. I think the burden of proof for showing emotional distress would probably be easier in California than Texas.
Oh, I don't know.
What do you think? I mean,
that's definitely your opinion. I mean, someone could make the case in Texas that they're so upset that this person had an abortion and they didn't even know the person and it really bothered them, so they're suing the Uber driver that drove.
Well, that's because they considered that murder the same level as a gun shooting. You know what I mean? Some people do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So, like, I mean, you could get into the debate about apples and, well, what stage is a life and all of that. But at the heart of it for me is just the political football of this thing. And I think Gavin Newsom knows it. And I think he knows that this is ridiculous.
Yes.
Like, it's not going to stand. I think he's using it as political theater to show the ridiculousness of the Texas law, which, great. Like, I think, hey, you want to point out the ridiculousness through doing your own thing in the state? Great. And now the Supreme Court will have to deal with that.
Or do you want to flood your court system with civil litigation around gun violence, right?
Right. I mean, what's to stop people if they want to make a buck? And the trial lawyers will be absolutely thrilled about this because now they can be like, imagine the billboards. Instead of just, were you injured in a traffic accident? Now just imagine the billboards like, have you been upset by gun violence? Mm-hmm. Like, are you upset by an abortion?
Let's all sue Walmart.
Let's sue the Uber driver who drove the woman to get. Or sue Smith and Wesson. America is already so sue happy. It's the most litigious country in the world. Like, now, can you imagine this? It'd be like 100 times the level of litigation. Unbelievable.
Yes. So it's interesting, and it will be interesting to see what the court does with this. We don't expect a ruling anytime soon. But you can expect a litigation, some kind of, well, because it's the Department of Justice that is suing the state of Texas for this abortion law. So then will the Department of Justice under the Biden administration sue California for a law that they otherwise ideologically align with?
Or will like the NRA step up and sue, like it's not going to be the Department
of
Justice.
And would the NRA be able to reach the Supreme Court? Because the Supreme Court could decline to hear it, right? So it will, I don't know.
Could you imagine the person though that found this like loophole, like who was like sitting there one night with like a magnifying glass and a little thing of whiskey and a candle light, and they're like, I'm gonna find the abortion loophole in this aha, eureka, I found it. Like runs down the street naked. I found how we can try to ban abortions in this.
That would have been a lawyer doing that.
Right. Yeah. By the way, note to self: have Eve, Ava, and Miles, my 3 kids, go to law school.
Okay.
Make some good money right now because we're gonna need them.